improvement support officer? Are you a head teacher? Are you a curriculum lead, or are you just a subject or class teacher? We want to find out your role in this PLC section. First of all, we'll delve into the key actors in the PLC. And I hope by now you have identified yourself. And for that matter, it means that you and I, wherever you may find yourself, you are a key actor in the PLC section. For that matter, you require to exhibit a sense of responsibility for a certain role. So what do you think is your role in a PLC session? And I'll be very glad if you could note it down. What is your role in the PLC session? You can kindly communicate to the person next to you. Ask him or her what is his or her role in the PLC section. All right. Whatever you said is not exhaustive. You kindly want to add up with whatever role that you may be playing in a PLC session. So we want to talk about the first one, which is Municipal or District Education Oversight Committee. Now, this is a committee that is made up of the MC or DC of that district, as well as Office Education Directorates members, that's the Director of Education, the front line. Also, it has civil society reps. And civil society, we are talking about organizations that promote the welfare of society in terms of the child rights, in terms of some NGOs and others. Also, there is a rep from the various religious bodies in terms of Christians in the districts, in terms of the Muslims, in terms of the traditional council. So all these things nominate or they elect reps. Also, educational associations, that the teachers associations, be it NATS, NAGRAT, NCOPS, CCT, they all have reps in this Education Oversight Committee. So what is their role? Their role is to validate the PLC program. It means that their role is to ensure that the PLC is implemented in that district. So what we are doing now is just like the Education Oversight Committee has seen the need for it to be implemented. And NCOPS is taking that privilege, or is moving in line with that to ensure that you and I partake in this PLC program. And they also provide a supervisory role. So what we are doing here is being supervised by the DC or MC in your area. Why do we say so? Because we have been tasked to do so, and they have mandated NCOPS to be having this session that you and I may find ourselves. Then let's talk about the District Director of Education or the Municipal Director of Education. Her role is to advise issues related to school-based implementation or monitoring or evaluation of the program. So they offer advisory notes. They advise on some of the best practices, some of the best ways of ensuring that PLC. They are also to ensure that PLC activities are included in the timetable. So if by now your school or wherever you find yourself, you don't have PLC in the timetable, they will advise you that this is something that Education Directorate, if he or she may pops up in your school and sees that PLC is on your timetable, it means that you are eligible to be sanctioned accordingly. And I know none of you here having this session will fall victim to that, because you have been made aware that PLC should be an official time on the timetable. Also, they also provide leadership and supervisory role. Let's talk about the head of monitoring and supervision. Anytime with any educational, the organogram, if I say organogram of GES or Education Directorate, we are talking about the structure of the GES. There is the director, education director. They are also what we call frontliners, and these people offer monitoring and supervisory roles. And what is their role? Their role is to ensure what we call FOI. And FOI means fidelity of implementation. It simply means how is that program being implemented to the latter. how is it implemented to the basic level? And here they offer how it is. They ensure that it is being implemented. They review with CISO on some of the data for the schools. So here, if you go to most educational directives, PLC has some data, and the data, as we talked about, there should be an attendance sheet. There should be activities that you perform. There should be reflective questions. There should be some resolutions or recommendations, and there should also be some of the reflective decisions that have been taken. So these data must be forwarded to the supervisory authority, and they review it, and they also offer their expert advice on them. Then also in consultation with the MMDs, that the District Director of Education, they are to assist heads of schools in the selection of curriculum leads for school POs. So I hope by now every school has a curriculum lead. All right. Let's talk about the CISO. The CISO is just a modern form for the old adage, that is executive advisor. And here they have been given a different terminology because in those days, second supervisors were seen as people to find fault. They were seen as people to identify problems and put blame on teachers on school level. So there was a need to rebrand or to re-equip such personnel. And in branding and re-equipping them, they were given the term school improvement support officers. And when we say school improvement support officers, simply means they are there to improve whatever, be it learning outcomes, be it teaching, be it learning, be it assessment. And in improving it, they are to support stakeholders, either the head teacher, the school, the PA, to do that. That is why we call them CISO, School Improvement Support Officers. And they are to participate in the selection of curriculum leads. So here, after selection of the curriculum leads at the school level, the CISO should validate to see whether that person is competent enough to hold that position, because the role of a curriculum leader is very vital in the sense that he is more or less like the organizer. And here, you should also, we must also be careful not to put it in the other perspective that the curriculum lead should be the overall facilitator, like doing everything. No. The lead is to what? It's like is to provide that leadership role to ensure the effective implementation of PLC. All right. And the CISO also identified training leads based on observation, based on supervision, based on the monitoring. They are to what? Identify the training needs or the learning needs of the various school settings. And through that, they are to organize training for school heads and curriculum leads. Also, they are or try to get involved in the PLC section. He or she can be reported to the CISO, and the CISO has the role to support that person to ensure he partakes, not to penalize the person or to punish, but rather to offer that reinforcement, that positive discipline, such that to ensure that he partakes in that PLC section. Also, the school head, and here let's be very critical here. He says to attend initial training on that a school head should be trained on PLC program. And this is an effective way that this is another forum for you to be trained. It's also ensure that the PTA or the PA executive or school-based SMC support the PLC program. And how are they going to support it? They can support it in terms of offering expert advice, in terms of the head teachers to ensure that teachers participate actively in PLC sessions. So they should try to draw an activity in consultation with the curriculum leads, as well as the staff to draw an itinerary so that this person can be the secretary for today, that person can be the facilitator, this person can keep eye, this person can take up the welfare. So there should be a delegation of duties during the PLC session. It shouldn't be a one-way affair. And I believe by now, those who are in the school setting, someone should be the secretary, someone should be in charge of welfare, someone should be the curriculum lead, and other roles that may be relevant in organizing of in the organization of the PLC. Also, they are to place measures to monitor and report on learners' progress. So at the PLC session, the head teacher can call for the performance of the learners in a certain subject area like maths, science. How are they performing? Are they performing well? What are those things that are going on well? What are some of the things that are also mitigating against a successful performance? So all these things, the head teacher must do so. And let's talk about the curriculum lead. The curriculum lead is to develop an agenda and schedule for PLC meetings. And here, it's not that you should sit in his room or in the comfort of his table and do this. You should consult by soliciting learning needs, challenges, problems, solutions. So that's why we say reflective solutions. It's like those things that teachers identify as the areas of challenge. The curriculum needs to inculcate all these things in the agenda or the schedules for the PLC meetings. And it's also to facilitate meetings, prepare reports, keep PLC records, minutes, attendance sheets, and other relevant materials that may be developed. You should, as I've earlier said, collecting of challenges, work closely with the colleagues to sustain change process required to operate PLC. So after PLC session, whatever decision has been taken, the curriculum lead should can be going around to ensure whatever decision was taken is being implemented to the fullest. All right, what about teachers? The teacher should what? Actively participate in PLC sessions and activities. And here, the word is what? Actively. Don't just go and sit there. Don't just be there. But you have to be active in your participation. Also, you should implement whatever decision was taken, whatever thing was learned in terms of what? Their lesson planning, their scheme of learning, and also keep track of the challenges or difficulties learners are facing. And also, you should what? Try out, implement whatever has been learned in your school session, in your classroom situation, as well as also what? Offer some of the successes. When you use them and it works, share it with the other learners. Sometimes when we share our successes, it's very effective in ensuring that all of us improve upon practice. All right, so here we just want to tax you with one of these. So I'll be very glad if you could select some of the roles. Earlier on, you made mention to state some of your role as a key actor in PLC. We've also explained some of the roles. So I'll be very glad if you could note down. It can be a rehash of what has already been said, or probably a role that you think is very relevant. Please kindly state it. And please outline a resource, anything that you may need to do that. All right, gladly. All right. So in a matter of a reflective stage, you just want to ask you, how do you find the lesson? Please, how do you find this lesson? This is a professional learning community. What we have done, how do you find it? Please kindly write it down. Which of the roles do you consider very challenging and why? We talked about various PLC key actors. So which of these roles do you consider very challenging and why? Were your expectations met? Earlier on, you were asked to write some expectations. at the chat box. I know some of you by the fact that you joined late, or if I may say not late, but you joined before that post was made. So what are your expectations? Were they met? I know when you were joining, you had some expectations. Have they been met? Or do you still have other expectations? Please kindly note it down. I will be very glad if you could post it in the chat box or also post it on the WhatsApp platform. Thank you very much. You make progress. So in conclusion of the rules, we want to quote from Aristotle. And here, I won't explain who Aristotle is, but I just want to ask the friend who is Aristotle. Hearing the name, or probably I know by now most of you are heard the name. But who is he? Who is Aristotle? So we are what we repeatedly do. So he said that we are what? And I want you to all, let's us all say it together. We are what we repeatedly do. Can we repeat again? We are what we repeatedly do. The second aspect, excellence, then is not an act, but a habit. Let's all read again. Excellence, then is not an act, but a habit. So can you reflect on this? All right, we make progress. All right, okay. So the next part of our presentation is what we call FOI. And please kindly write the full meaning of FOI. FOI. What is FOI? We just made mention of it, and I'll be very glad. F, write the full meaning. It's an abbreviation. O, what's the meaning? Then I. All right. So look at FOI, the key elements of FOI, purpose of FOI, and what involves the tools and data, the use of FOI to improve curriculum implementation. And last week, we made mention of the fact that these documents are being outsourced from the standard-based curriculum, as well as the Common Core program, as well as the educational documents. So please, you learn it accordingly. So if you wrote FOI as you see on your screen, pat yourself on your back, just be happy, just give yourself a smile and wave. All right, congratulations. So I believe by now, FOI is simply ability of implementation. All right, so here, because of time, because of data issues, we wanted to present how you understand FOI, but we'll just put this as a group work later on for you to work on that. So, fidelity of implementation. There is a need to check how PLCs are being implemented to the latter. So what are we trying to do? PLC we need to check it. We need to ensure that PLCs are being implemented to the latter. And as we are implementing it, we are improving upon it. So whatever you learned this time around, the next session should be an improvement on it. And why are we saying so? We are saying so because it's meant to support struggling schools, struggling classes, struggling learners, struggling situations in the school situation, the classroom, or wherever. And in fidelity of implementation, we are trying to say that we are analyzing the relationship between the intervention. You are inputting something to ensure that the learning or the teaching process, there is an improvement. So how is that improvement impacting on the learning or impacting on the outcomes? What attributes can you add to the intervention such that there's an improvement. Then also the result that you are getting out of the implementation. Can we do other things more to better it or to improve upon it? Then also, what are some of the contributions that can equally be added to ensure that the interest in the PLC is sustained to the latter? These are some of the things that fidelity of implementation comes, or why you see fidelity of implementation. Ensuring the success and also reflecting on the practice and ensuring that there is improvement in performance. We made mention that PLC is to ensure that there is an improvement in what? Performance. All right. So here, the targets. Are we meeting targets? Indicators in the curriculum, are they being met? Also, the results, whatever corrections that we get out of the PLC session, are we also reporting to the stakeholders such that there is progress towards targets? These are some of the elements, these are some of the things that we are talking about when we talk about fidelity of what? Implementation. So here, what are the key elements? Simply put, FOI is meant to ensure adherence. It's like you must be faithful, you must implement the PLC. It's not that this week you do it, next week absent. No, there should be what? Adherence. There should be what? Exposure. There should be what? Quality of service. The input that teachers are putting in, the input that you and I arrive at. How are we strategizing to get the desired result? To get the desired result. That is the quality of what? Delivery. Then there should what? Participants' responsiveness. How are participants responding to whatever decision that arrives? Whatever decision that arrived at the end of the PLC session. Please, apologies for the noisy interference. All right. So these are the elements. And can you please state the elements of FOI? All right. So adherence, exposure, quality of delivery, participants' responsiveness. These should be key in every PLC. You must adhere to it. Teachers must attend PLCs regularly. Whatever input that is being done should be sufficient enough to produce the desired results. All right. So, what is fidelity of implementation? It simply refers to the degree, and here, let me just pause here. Please, what is FOI? How would you summarize what is here on your screen? What is FOI? Please write it. Somebody say the same thing on the screen. I heard it. All right, please, how would you also define, explain, or summarize FOI? All right, so the purpose of FOI is to find out if teachers or head teachers are implementing what the curriculum or what the PLC is trying to achieve. And also to find out how well teachers and head teachers and other stakeholders are implementing the curriculum. So that's the purpose of FOI. Simply put, is to ensure that we are implementing the curriculum to the fullest or to the latter. All right, so FOI involves the key actors. Here the CISO, the head of schools, teachers. And here we will put extra materials for CISOs. There are some monitoring tools for which we will be putting on the platform for you to use or for you to also have an experience of it. So how CISOs enhance to are implementing or evaluating the implementation and make suggestions for improvement. All right. So types of data to be collected. Teachers FOI. So here, you the teacher, as you are implementing the curriculum, what are some of the challenges that you are facing? What are some of the successes that you are encountering? What are some of the things that you want to do? So that is, all these things should be evident in the PLT sessions. Then also the head teacher. Teacher should interview teachers. You can call a teacher and interview him. You are teaching math, teaching science, teaching English, teaching fancy. How well, what are some of the things that you are facing? All this should be documented. You can observe a lesson and find out the weaknesses and the strengths and document it. The CISO can also, through the monitoring, identify certain data. Then the last but not the least, that is the learner's performance data, the SBA, the class assessment, even normal observation and others. So these are some of the data that should be collected during FOI. That is during the implementation of the curriculum as well as PLC sessions. And these data should what? Influence the decisions or what the learning areas or learning needs. Then also the challenges teachers face. So these are some of the ways or some of the key areas that during teacher interviews, the information that can be solicited. So in terms of the challenges that they receive during the implementation, also in terms of how they can overcome the challenges, then also in terms of have they been trained? And I believe this question, if you should be asked, have you been trained on PLC? I believe the answer may be, you answer it first. Have you been trained on PLC? If no, you are being done. If yes, then kudos to you. All right. So FOI also goes to the lesson observation. Because through lesson observation, we solicit challenges of the lesson, we solicit strength of the lesson, we solicit areas for improvement. And we also try to use other creative ways of ensuring that we develop the lesson to suit the learning needs of every learner. As we earlier said, the head teacher can interview the learners, can interview teachers, can even interview parents and other stakeholders on how well they are getting the learning outcomes. Then, as we said, learners' performance data through the SBA, through class tests, observation, and other areas. All right. So we're going to ask this question. Can FOI influence PLC activities? Yes or no? Please answer. Can FOI influence PLC activities? Yes or no? All right. Thank you for answering accordingly. All right. So how can we use data from FOI to improve implementation of the curriculum? And I believe that because we said yes, whatever we learn out of the interviews, out of the performance of learners, out of observation, it is meant to what? Be used to improve upon practice. That is how we are trying to say. So whatever you identify learners are struggling, they are reading, you're supposed to devise reading interventions for such things. So we just want to reflect on this. And please kindly take your notes or your digital devices. What new things have you learned today? Please kindly write it. What new things have you learned today? Then also, what outstanding issues do you want to be addressed? Please kindly write them down. We'll be very glad if these questions, if the answers to these questions will be pasted on the WhatsApp platform, or better still, the chat box. You know, the chat box after the session will vanish, if I may say so. So if somebody can kindly take a screenshot and paste it on the WhatsApp platform, or better still, if you can pick that directly on the platform. What new things have you learned? What outstanding issues do you have? All right. So at this juncture, I just want to thank you very much for your time, for your patience, and everything. And we believe that it's time to engage ourselves in very effective PLC. So this is an orientation on PLC, and I believe some of you may still have outstanding issues for which you want to revert to the to the Zoom application. Then we will have that discussion going forward. So thank you very much for your time, for your patience, and it's time to collaborate. It's time to engage. It's time to ask questions and reflect on whatever we have learned and take decisions on the way forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Agbe. It's raining at my end here. That's Obuasi. We pave way for teachers to ask questions, contribute, and make suggestions. Coming Friday, we'll start with our first PLC. Mind you that this PLC training has a lot of benefits. The aim is to shape the practices of our teaching skills. And also, we are going to have a national assessment test on this PLC, aiming to give awards, interesting awards, awards that can help the teacher to deliver whatever he's taking his children through. So we should all take this PLC training very serious so that you win an award at the end of the term to help yourself and to help you, to help your children to improve on the academic performance. At this juncture, we open or give the chance or opportunity for others to ask questions or contribute or make suggestions. The floor is open. You can unmute yourself and then you ask a question or send in your suggestion, and after that you mute yourself. Thank you.
Hello. Hello. Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Please, you can talk. You can talk.
Can you hear me? Yeah. If you can hear me, I have a few things I'm concerned to but before my concern, I can say that the class is so effective. I really enjoy the class. I think this will be a class to whatever I have already acquired. It's going to help me in my delivery and implementation in the classroom. And so I think we need a Hello? Hello?
We are listening. You can talk.
The host has muted me. That's why I'm asking. Yes, I was trying to say it was a very important class. Yes. So the having gone through today, I think it's very effective, which we have to encourage ourselves to be part and parcel of this. But I have a concern. My concern has to do with the time. It's not going to be in our favor. Some of us, due to the time, if it starts around 2:30 or 3:30, it's not in our favor because I close at my end at 4 o'clock. So 4 o'clock, I don't know, but then the class has already started. And so I don't know whether it's possible. They can shift the time maybe later in the evening. Let's say 5:30 when everybody is back home I don't know. Since we all have the gadget, we don't need to gather ourselves at a particular school and be watching. We all have our phones which we can use. So if you can use that one instead of gathering, some schools can do, some others can do that because of the time they close and they have a serene environment to be part of the. But some of us do not favor us. Not only the place, the environment is very noisy, but we are not closed. The closest school is not is still in session. So please, if you can help.
All right, thank you very much. And it's well said. And I think it's not loud of it. So I'll meet my executive and consider it. Thank you very much. Any other contribution or question? We have only 1 minute to go off.